Hello Pokemon lovers and welcome to yet another episode of Rating All Pokemon, where I, Hilda, rate all the Pokemon, but not all at once. Today is gonna be pretty short. I have 4 Pokemon lined up for you. They're pretty dope though, so it will be fine, I promise. But before I start, I want to apologize for not having a new video up last week. I have some changes in my life that are making planning my videos a little bit more difficult, but I'm working on it and I will survive. Alright, are you ready? Are you ready to go? Because I am, and we're starting with number 427, Buneary. Buneary is a small little bunny Pokemon from Gen 4, obviously, because that's where we're at. I don't know why I mentioned that. Buneary is a normal type, as, I mean, most rodents are in Pokemon world. I say rodents, but rabbits aren't actually rodents, but you know what, this is not a biology show, so I won't get into that. Buneary has very powerful ears and it can curl up those ears, and when it curls them up, they become really, really strong and they become like a tool for Buneary to punch opponents. Buneary mostly lives in forests, but sometimes for some reason they also live in icy mountains, and when they live in icy mountains, when they sleep, they curl up into their ears and become adorable bundles of fur. I love rabbits, so the image, like the thought of that makes me very happy. Pokemon Black and White 2 says, by extending its rolled up ears and striking the ground, it can bounce so high it surprises itself. I'm usually a fan of Pokemon that do things that confuse themselves, like what Pichu does and stuff like that, so this little fact is pleasing to me. I never really gave Buneary any thought. I never used it in my games. It just wasn't very interesting to me, so doing my research on this little boy, actually a good thing. Also, have you seen the shiny Buneary? It is very pink, but very cute. Buneary is obviously based on a rabbit, and its French name is pretty much the same as Buneary, because Buneary comes from bunny and ear, and the French name is Lopunny, which comes from lapin, which is a bunny, and oreille, which is ear, but it sounds way cooler. Lopunny. 4 out of 5. When you level Buneary with high friendship, it will evolve into Lopunny. Now, Lopunny is subject to many inappropriate fan art, so if you want to Google it, be wary, because some weird shit might show up, just like Gardevoir. Oh, the internet. It's a bunny, guys. This isn't this strange, because Lopunny actually is based on the Playboy bunny type of costumes that you still see sometimes. It's not really a thing in the Western world anymore, but in Japan, there still are a lot of people who dress up as these sexy bunnies, and Lopunny is actually based on that concept. It's also based on the Lop bunny, which is a bunny that has ears that are drooping down instead of standing up. Mostly the Holland Lop, which is a bunny that originated in my country, so very great. What I love about Lopunny is that it can be male or female, and you know, it's just very, very sexual, and you would assume it is always a lady, but it can also be male, so I like that. Lopunny can also Mega Evolve, and when it Mega Evolves, it looks like a 90s aerobics instructor with like high tights and ponytails, and it's fucking hilarious. You know what? I actually forgot that Lopunny has a Mega Evolution, so. Now, as you can see, Lopunny is a very fluffy Pokemon, and it is very careful of its fur. It will groom all the time, and you know, its fur has to look perfect, otherwise it won't go outside. I don't know about that, but probably. Now, it may not look like it, but Lopunny is actually a very shy and timid Pokemon, and when it senses danger, it will cover itself in its own beautiful fur and become a ball of fluff. Again, love it. The French name for Lopunny, weirdly enough, is Locpin. Now, this comes from lapin, just like Buneary's name did, but lock comes from dreadlock. Strangely enough, because dreadlock is not something you associate with Lopunny, right? But dreadlock. Yeah, Lopunny gets a 4 out of 5 too. Not my favorite, but still pretty cool. Our next Pokemon for today is number 429, Is it? Yes. 429, Mismagius. Now, Mismagius is the evolution of Misdreavus, who we discussed a while ago, but as I said before, in Gen 4, there are some new evolutions to Pokemon we already know, and Mismagius is one of them. Now, Mismagius is really dope. It evolves from Misdreavus when you expose it to a Duskstone. It has this cool appearance of like some type of magical being. A witch? Is it a wizard? Is it a magician? I think it is a witch or wizard kind of appearance. Now, Mismagius can use various types of incantations to either cause happiness or sadness, and some people even believe it can cause people to fall in love. Now, this is why this is a Pokemon that's like very sought after, and people will dedicate their entire lives to finding Mismagius only so that the person they love will fall in love with them. Now, another thing Mismagius can do, as seen in the anime, is get people to sleep and make them enter this like crazy dream world where other shit happens. And they don't actually know. They don't notice. They're just there in their dream world. The only way to wake up from this weird slumber is by having this Mismagius knocked out, which isn't something you can do because you're asleep, so someone has to save you. It's all very terrifying. Pokemon Sun says, it appears as if from nowhere, muttering incantations, placing curses, and giving people terrifying visions. Ooh, that's spooky. Now, I'm a big fan of Mismagius' look. I think it's so cool. Like I said before, it's based on witches and magic and like hallucinations and what are those things? Banshees, stuff like that. And I'm always very interested in that kind of thing. I just think it's very dope. It is like it's wearing a witch's hat, which is also cool. I give Mismagius a 5 out of 5. Very cool Pokemon. I love it. Now, the next one is another evolution of a pre-existing Pokemon, and it is Hunch Crow. Now, Hunch Crow, before I start, looks like it could be like if they made it look a little bit more evil and terrifying, it would totally be a Bloodborne boss fight man. And I don't know why. I think it's the weird fedora, creepy magic hat that it's wearing. Let's just continue. It was just a mind blurb, and that was it. Hunch Crow is also known as the Summoner of the Night. The reason Hunch Crow is called the Summoner of the Night is because when it cries, it will attract like dozens of Murkrow who will follow it blindly. There's a myth that Hunch Crow will never forgive the sins of the Murkrow. I don't know what the Murkrow did, but it must be very horrible. I don't know. I think it's very cool personally. That like it's not known why these weird flocks of like one Hunch Crow and dozens of Murkrow exist, but they're there and they're terrifying. Can you imagine fighting a very large crow with a beard in Bloodborne and having all this stupid Murkrow minions like peck at you for fucking forever? I don't know, man. It sounds like a hard thing. I've never played Bloodborne, but I've seen what it looks like, and it looks like Hunch Crow. That's what I'm saying. Hunch Crow is mostly a night dweller. During the daytime, it will tend to its feathers and make itself look presentable for the night. I don't know. Pokemon Moon says, if its Murkrow cronies fail to catch food for it, or if it feels they have betrayed it, it will hunt them down wherever they are to punish them. This guy is a fucking lunatic. Now, Hunch Crow is obviously based on the crow or the raven. It looks mostly like the hooded crow, like just like Murkrow does. And another thing it resembles is a crime boss. Now, crime bosses usually have minions who do shit for them, and they wear hats, so it must be true. Hunch Crow does look like it's actually wearing a fedora type hat, which the internet will not enjoy, apart from people who actually wear fedoras. Do they exist? I don't know. But honestly, I just think it looks like one of those Bloodborne hats. Hunch Crow has a tail, yes it does, that looks a bit like a broomstick, which is associated with witchcraft and stuff like that. So it resembles a crime boss, but it also shows a little bit of that dark magic part of it. Hunch Crow's name comes from Honcho, which is a leader or a boss, and Crow. And that is it for Hunch Crow. I give it a 5 out of 5. That was it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really liked, especially the last 2 Pokemon of today, and that is all I have to say. I should just end it at the rating and just leave. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thanks for being my subscriber. Beware of the Hunch Crow. Which one of the 2 do you like more? Mismagius or Hunch Crow? I personally like Mismagius more, but maybe that's because of all the witches and stuff. I will see you again next week, and this outro is making me feel more awkward every second, so thank you and goodbye.